This video provides financial evidence that the president of the board of directors at the Organic Trade Association, Julia Sabin, individually profits off of genetically engineered foods as a VP and general manager at Smuckers. The biggest threat to the future of the organic movement, organic farmers, and the health of the U.S. is the mass adoption of GE foods. The largest chemical companies in the world in the 20th century, Monsanto, Dow, and DuPont, that have left millions of us with dozens of different chemicals in our bloodstreams, are now the largest owners and creators of seeds in the 21st century. Monsanto is still denying Agent Orange claims, even though the last Agent Orange deforestation was 30 years ago. Monsanto has a history of endlessly fighting lawsuit claims for decades, despite obvious wrongdoing, which causes further harm to their victims. Over the past 3 years, Monsanto has spent $1.2 billion, $1.1 billion, and $980 million on research and development. The next decade will see hundreds of new GE products. A federal law must be passed to label GE foods, similar to how GEs are labeled or banned throughout most of the world. GEs are biopharmaceutical drugs that must have proper potential side effect warning labels, similar to pharmaceutical drugs. In 30 countries, GE foods are banned or labeled. The organic industry has lost every political battle in a 20-year war against the GE political lobby. Whatever tactics have been attempted over the past 20 years have failed. Drastic new measures must be implemented to change federal government policies and label GE foods. The Organic Trade Association was formed 25 years ago to represent the organic ecosystem. Today, the OTA is the main lobbying and trade group of the entire organic industry in North America. They lobby senators and congressmen on behalf of the organic industry to promote organic standards and budget requests for the USDA National Organic Program, which regulates the organic certifiers. The OTA states on their website that they have 6,500 members and 60% of them are small businesses. Yet out of the 15 members of their board of directors, only 4 represent small business. 2 of those are organic certifiers. Almost all of the 11 board members represent companies that generate a majority of their sales from highly toxic GE ingredients. They are the reason for the obesity epidemic that is paralyzing and poisoning the world. The most conflicted members of the board of the OTA include Kelly Shea of White Wave Foods, owned by Dean Foods, Chuck Marcy, former president and CEO of Breyers Yogurt, former president of Quaker Oats, a unit of PepsiCo, and former president of Kraft General Foods National Dairy Products, Craig Weekly of Small Planet Foods, owned by General Mills. General Mills had $10.3 billion in sales in the U.S. in 2010. Small Planet had $250 million. 90%, totaling $9 billion of General Mills' U.S. retail sales, have GE foods. Julia Sabin is the president of the board of directors. She is VP and GM of Smuckers, which owns Santa Cruz Organics and Knudsen. Why is there no small organic farmer on the OTA's board of directors when the U.S. has 14,000 certified organic farms, almost all of which are small farms? The OTA has completely failed in convincing most of the companies that have representatives on their board of directors to implement the policies and requirements that the trade association is asking the public to live by. This is because these board members represent companies that profit off of low-cost, government-subsidized GE crops. Most of the 11 companies on the board of directors buy $100 million a year combined of GE products from grain processors such as Cargill. Cargill controls 22% of U.S. beef production and is a pioneer in animal factory farms and animal cruelty. The board of directors sets policy and the budget that advances policy. Unfortunately, we are unable to find any major initiatives by the OTA to support GE labeling. Julia Sabin has been an employee at Smuckers for 24 years. After an evaluation of Smuckers.com, out of 142 Smuckers-branded products and flavors, at least 120 of these have multiple sources of GE ingredients, such as high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. Smuckers has many brands that they own or create products for, including Dunkin' Donuts, Pillsbury, and many others. Julia Sabin has failed to convince her boss, Tim Smucker, the chairman and CEO of Smuckers, to stop selling experimental GE foods. If Julia cannot convince her own company after 24 years to stop selling GE foods, then how can she convince senators and congressmen that we need a federal mandate to label GE? We found Julia's stock sales and ownership in Smuckers. As of November 2010, Julia directly owns 15,110 shares of Smuckers. At $73 per share, the latest stock price, that equals $1,100,000. Over the past 2 years, Julia Sabin has sold $530,000 worth of Smuckers stock. Since most of Smuckers' products contain GE, Julia is profiting when Smucker sells unlabeled GE foods to children. Julia has a financial interest when meeting with senators and congressmen to request they continue to subsidize the corn lobby instead of demanding a federal law to label and ban GE foods. At the OTA's annual 2011 policy conference and Hill Visit Day in Washington, Julia Sabin presented the OTA Public Servant Award to Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio. Senator Brown is a progressive organic supporter. For the presentation ceremony, Julia Sabin invited Tim Smucker to present Senator Brown the award because Smuckers is based in Ohio, the state that Senator Brown represents. Tim Smucker plays a key role in contributing to the obesity epidemic. He profits off of experimental GE foods with toxic pesticides that children eat. Tim Smucker is the last person in the world that should present an Organic Leadership Award. Tim Smucker's 5-year compensation amounts to $30.23 million. According to Yahoo Finance, he owns 600,923 shares at $73 a share, which equals $43.8 million in Smucker's stock. Tim Smucker only supports politicians and political action committees that oppose and suppress the organic movement. Over the course of 6 election cycles, 12 years, Tim Smucker made 61 total donations equaling $150,300. He supported only one Democrat, Tom Harkin, with one donation for $2,300. Harkin is the longtime senator from Iowa and chairman of the Senate Agriculture Committee. He is the most influential Democrat to donate to if you profit from high fructose corn syrup. Smucker made one donation to a political action committee for $2,500, as well as 46 donations to Republicans, totaling $103,000. One of these 46 Republican donations was for $2,100 to Mike DeWine, Sherrod Brown's opponent in the 2006 Senate race. Tim Smucker presents awards to Sherrod Brown, but not money for his campaigns. 13 donations for $42,500 went to the Grocery Manufacturers Association PAC. Over the past 12 years, 6 election cycles, Tim's wife, Jenny Smucker, made 7 donations totaling $33,000 to the Grocery Manufacturers Association PAC. All combined, Tim and Jenny Smucker have donated over $75,000 to the Grocery Manufacturers Association PAC. The Grocery Manufacturers Association is the largest trade association in the world, representing multinational food companies. They have a staunch pro-GE stance and have even created a 14-page policy paper touting the benefits of high fructose corn syrup entitled A Guide for Consumers, Policymakers, and the Media. Tim Smucker is a member of the board of directors of the GMA. The executive summary of the report states the following. An academic center at the University of Maryland convened an expert panel to review the science relating HFCS and weight gain. The CFNAP expert panel concluded that HFCS does not appear to contribute to overweight and obesity any differently than any other energy sources. The report also claims research is conclusive that sugars do not cause diabetes. In April 2011, the OTA issued a press release discussing 3 National Institute of Health research studies about common pesticides harming pregnant women's unborn children. This is contradictory evidence from what the Grocery Manufacturers Association promotes. Tim Smucker and Jenny Smucker spent $75,500 promoting high fructose corn syrup by supporting the GMA instead of cognitive development in children. In the OTA's 5-page annual report, there's not one mention of GE or GMO foods or the progress the OTA has made towards GE labeling. Any member of the OTA board of directors that works for a food corporation with a percentage of sales from GE foods should resign from the OTA board. Transparency for budgets and policy positions must become public to members. It is up to the employees of the OTA who are against GE foods to unify and confront the OTA board about GE labeling. Any strategy up until now has failed. New policy and tactics must be implemented to pass a GE labeling law. Will the OTA devote financial resources to suppress this video instead of spending time taking a stand against GE food poisoning our world? Members of the OTA must nominate new members to be on the board of directors. Only 20% of members vote each year. If you are an OTA member, make sure to vote in this year's June election. Label GE Foods.